So, Federer and Cilic, they're facing off in the second round of Roland Garros. Now, the Federer had a really great win over Instrument. He beat him in straight at 6-2, 6-4, 6-3, and his long awaited return to Roland Garros. So, that was a great win for him. He didn't face a break point. He served 8 aces, and he also won 80% of first serve points. So, he played really well in that match. He rolled back the years in that match. He played extremely well, and we're hoping to keep it up against Cilic. Cilic will definitely be a sterner test than his first opponent, but if he's anywhere close to his brilliant best, he should probably get through it. Cilic also had a fine win of his own. He beat Rinderknecht, the French wildcard, in straight sets in the first round, 7-6, 6-1, 6-2. The first set was tight, but other than that, Cilic cruised to victory. So he'll be really happy with that, and he'll be hoping that if maybe Federer is slightly off his game, he'll be able to spring an upset here. Now, these two players, they've met 10 times, and Federer leads the head-to-head a whopping 9-1. So they've met a bunch of times. Their most recent meeting was on a hard court in the Australian Open. Federer won that one in 5 sets. In their only clay court meeting, Federer won that one in straight sets. So my prediction, I think that Federer wins this one again. I think that it's gonna be straight sets. I know many people say it's gonna be 4 sets, but I think that Federer played really well against this tournament. I think that he can win this in straight sets. It'll be tight, so I'm thinking like it's gonna be really tight sets. These 3 sets, gonna be tiebreakers, but I think that Federer will win this one in straight sets. So Taylor Fritz and Dominic Kopfer, they're facing off in the second round of Roland Garros. Fritz this year, he's had some good results, mixing with some like early exits, but he has some good results. His good results have mostly come on the hard courts because he's not as good on the clay. So his good results have mostly come on the hard courts, but he did do well in Doha. He reached the semi. He reached the 3rd round of the Australian Open, and he also reached the semis of Sardinia. So that was one of the good results that came on the clay courts. We'll see if he can carry some good form. He did beat a good clay court guy, a good clay court player in Joe Souza. He beat him in straight sets. So he'll be confident of maybe carrying that form over to this match. But he'll have to be weary because his opponent is actually pretty good on the clay. Now, Kopfer is actually a good player on the clay. He managed to also make the quarterfinals of Rome last year. So he's pretty eager on the clay. And he had a good routine win over a French wildcard Borg. He beat him 6-3, 6-3, 6-4. And he was good in that match, and he's had some good results this year. He made the quarterfinals of Geneva. He also managed to make the semifinals of Acapulco, although that was on a hard court. But still, he is playing really well, so he'll be hoping to carry some good form over. Now, these two players, they have met before. They've met twice, and Fritz has won both of their encounters. Both of them were on the hard courts, and Fritz won them. Recently, last year in the US Open, Fritz won it in 4 sets. So I think that Fritz is going to win this. I think that while Kopfer is really good on the clay, I think that Fritz played really well in this first match, and I think that he has the ability to win this. I think it's going to be a 4-set match, but I think that Fritz will get it in the end. So Fritz in 4 sets is my prediction. So Kwon and Seppi, they're facing off in the second round of Roland Garros. Now Kwon this year has actually had some mixed form this year. He's much more of a hardcore player, but he did show his clay court prowess in Andalusia. He made the quarterfinal, and he also now managed to beat Kevin Anderson. And while Anderson is also not a clay court player, still an impressive victory for Kwon. So he's showing that he can maybe play on the clay, but he's gonna have it tough. He now takes on Seppi, who had a really great opening win. So Seppi this year, right, he's at the end of his career. He's no longer where he used to be, but he's had a good year on the Challenger circuit. He won a Challenger in Italy just recently. He made the semifinal of a Challenger in Italy as well. So he is doing well on the Challenger circuit, and he also claimed a fine win against Felix Auger-Aliassime and beat him in 4 sets. So that was a good win because Auger-Aliassime is a tough opponent. So it was a good win for him, and now he gets to play Kwon. So these two players, so Kwon and Seppi, they've never met. So they have a 0-0 head-to-head, but they met in the qualifying event in 2020 in Cincinnati. Kwon won that one in 3 sets. So right now, I think that Seppi will win. I think that while Kwon is a good player, Seppi just claimed a massive opening win, and he has the experience too. So I'm going to back Seppi to win this in 4 sets. So Berrettini and Correa, they're facing off in the second round of Roland Garros. Now, Berrettini has had a good year this year. Last year he struggled a bit towards the end of the year, but this year it's been a really good form. He made the finals of ATP Cup and the 4th round of the Australian Open, and on the clay court he continued that good form. He won a title in Serbia and reached the finals in Madrid. So he is in good form, and he also managed to claim a good win over Taro Daniel in 4 sets in the first round of the French Open. So he'll be confident that he can go deep, especially with him having an open draw. He can at least make probably the second week, so he'll be confident of doing that. His opponent is he plays one of the challenger circuit, but he's recently had a breakthrough this year because he did reach his career high ranking. He has had some good tournaments on the clay. He did well in the Cordoba Open. He made the semis there. He also did well in Belgrade last week. He made the quarterfinals, so he's going to be confident that he can do well. And he also claimed a good win over Feliciano Lopez in straight sets, so he'll be confident of maybe doing something with, especially since he knows that Berrettini is an all-court player, but he isn't at his best on the clay, so he'll be confident that maybe he can spring an upset. Now, these two players, they've met once officially. Berrettini won that one in straight sets. On a clay court event, a challenger in the semifinal of a challenger in Italy, that was 2017. Berrettini also won that in straight sets. So my prediction, I think that it's going to be a straight sets win again. I think that Berrettini right now is just too strong. He's playing really well, and Correa is more of a challenger level opponent. I don't think he can do much to Berrettini. I think it'll be 3 tights. I think we have tight first set, but I think other than that, Berrettini should cruise through this encounter. Berrettini in straight sets is my prediction.